If I say everybody loves game, would you all agree?
Yes.
What about this game? How many of us would love to play this game? It's a game where we put blame of our shortcomings, failures, problems to others, like people, weather, government. How many of us would love to play this game?
We do.
Well, to some extent, everybody loves to play this game, whether agree or not.
The sibling. If our sibling is in front of us.
Particularly if something is in front, sibling. Okay. Anyways, to let you know what this blame game has to relate with the topic, with the speech is, we all have different things in our lives to worry about. So many things that we have to curse in our life. For example, if we go out, we see a huge traffic jam. And what do we see when we see the traffic jam? We see, what a mess. We come to our job and we see an angry boss. How do we react when we see the angry boss? Oh hell, he's a nuance. And so many things in our life we curse about. One more thing. What is the rate of inflation in Pakistan? Does anybody have an idea?
What do you think?
Approximate, estimate.
What do you think?
36%.
35 to 40%.
This year.
Gosh, isn't that something we all worry about?
Yes. Yes.
What about the economic, socio-economic situation in Pakistan? Isn't this something that we all worry about? The scope of business, jobs in Pakistan, so many things to worry on a tiny mind. But let me ask you one more thing. How do you feel when you find yourself helpless? Or you find yourself stuck in a situation where you're not able to change something? How do you feel?
Helpless.
Demotivated, frustrated, angry,
Annoyed.
and that's where the stress hits the bottom. The stress is born. When we are helpless to a situation, we love to get stressed. We love to cry, eat our heart out, just because we're not able to do anything. Right? So there comes the topic of my speech, and that is the circles of perspective. Hello Toastmasters and distinguished guests. Good evening. Today I'm going to let you know what the circles of perspectives are and how does it help in our life to lead a smooth, hassle and stress-free life. First and foremost, perspective. Perspective is something through which we see something. It's the way we interpret, and that is why it may vary from person to person, because everybody has a different opinion. Everybody sees things differently. And this is how perspective is formed. And the circles of perspective. This theory was coined by late Stephen R. Covey in his book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. How many of you have read this book? I love this book. Great. It's a fantastic book. It's one of the finest books in personal development category. What do you say? Agreed. Alright. In this book, in habit number 1, being proactive, he highlights the circles and he introduces a theory that there are 2 different types of people in this world with 2 different approaches. One is reactive approach and second is proactive approach. How do we know what difference is there? For this, we have to dive down deeper in the theory of circles of perspectives. So basically, there are 3 circles. Number 1 circle, I'm sorry for the writing. Concern. Usually genius people have poor writing. Anyways, doctors have poor. That's why doctors have poor writing. Concern. The first circle is concern. Circle of concern. This circle includes all those things over which we have no control, no power, no authority. For example, inflation, economic conditions, government policies, or in simple words, traffic jams, weather. Stephen Covey highlights that reactive people fret over these things. They worry about these things, they have no control. And then we have another circle. And that circle is called circle of influence. Circle of influence includes those things over which we have little or somewhat control. We have influence and we can ask for desired change. For example, our family members, our friends, our colleagues. So if we want to have a change, we can ask for them. For example, in terms of inflation, let's take an example. Inflation, we can ask our family members to cut down their expenses, to compromise for cost. So there are so many things. And then comes the third cycle. And the third cycle is cycle of control. It contains the things that we have absolute power, absolute control and authority. For example, our attitude, our habits, our behavior. The Stephen Covey illustrates that highly productive people are keenly focused on this cycle. When they confront a challenge, instead of thinking about those things which are out of their control, they keenly focus on the things that fall into circle of control. For example, if you have a bad boss who's usually mad at even tiny trivial things, so instead of wishing and asking for his attitude change, why not change your own attitude and align your attitude according to the likes and dislikes of your boss? And that's how you overcome the situation. What do you say? So in conclusion, our point is we have to be watchful of our perspectives, of our thoughts, that if we confront a challenge, where do our thoughts revolve around? In concern, influence, or control? And that's how we differentiate ourselves from the ordinary to the extraordinary. Thank you very much. Back to you, Toastmaster of the evening.